Hi, I'm Christopher Hein, and today we're going to talk about my ninth Kumijo. So 8 and 9 pair up nicely together. They both come from this kaishi position, so reaching up on top. My eighth Kumijo, or my ninth Kumijo, is Saito Sensei's first Kumijo. And it's the one that I think most people who study Wama weapons know best with the Jo, because most teachers tend to start at 1 and work through 1. But to me, it's full of a lot of detailed, strange stuff. And not that it's really strange, it's just tactically understanding what's happening is complex. And so we're going to talk about that today. And to me, it's better to save that to the end. So it's like people already have an idea of how to work with the Jo and how it tactically comes together before they start working on this Kumijo that I think is actually rather complicated. So I'm going to get Josh over here. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so let's talk about my ninth Kumijo. This is Saito Sensei's first Kumijo. This is a Kumijo I think a lot of people know, but is very problematic and tactically complex. I think there's a bunch of stuff to make it make sense. You got to understand a lot of things. And I think it does make sense, and I think it's a good form, and I think there's some cool stuff in it, but it's complex. So let's hit some of that stuff today. Okay, so just like from my fourth form down, this starts with me and Jo Kamae and Josh and Ski Kamae at Josh's distance. So in the form, basically what's going to happen is Josh is going to shoot a choku ski. As he does that, I'm going to step off to the side. I'm going to kaishi ski him in response. He's going to mawashi barai this to the side. He's going to come in for me. I'm going to step off to the side with banji no kamae catching it. Then I'm going to use a jodengai shiuchi. He's going to turn back and catch it. He's going to whip it away with a mawashi barai. I'm going to come around and use jodengai shiuchi or rinzoku chikomi to hit him in the head. And that last mawashi barai, Saito Sensei doesn't really do it. The school I learned it from does do it, and I like it because it's a nice additional mawashi barai, and you can see mawashi barai from a different position. But that's basically the way you'd see the form. Okay, so this form's super complicated. When you're in this position, it's a harder position in lots of ways, and I think it might feel okay if you've done it a whole bunch, but it is not as good as just grabbing it like this. This is an easier way to grab, right? But this is a hard way to grab, but if I grab this way, I'm not really going to be nicely set up for a choku ski, and I could if I step to the other side, so I'm reaching up on top like this to deliver a ski. So this, in my opinion, has to be a guy who's kind of comfy with stuff, right? Now, another thing that's happening is when Josh is launching this, he's doing a subet ski in the form, and that's so I can kind of time it. So he goes subet ski, and that's the way you see it in the forms. But he could also just be launching a choku ski. So if he's doing that, I have to be really fast in order for him to do that and me hop off to the side and choku ski him, right? So this, we're talking about a person who's faster than the other person. So in this, the person who's doing the form, has to be faster, right? So just have to be faster. Otherwise, you're not going to get that off, right? So in this form, we're seeing a good idea, which is I should attack and attack. So that's not a bad idea. But the problem with that is I just have to be really fast, and especially from this configuration. This is kind of like a very specialized kind of thing. Okay, so first of all, I think this form has to be for someone who's doing that. Second part of it is Josh, midway through, has to recognize that I'm attacking, stop there, and knock this away. Now, this is a guy who's computing things fast. Now, because it's a hand action for a foot action, I think technically he can get it off. It's just a lot, right? So if he were to finish his whole ski and then try to do the mawashi barai would be pointless because he would have already got hit, right? So he has to do it in the middle of my action. And in my opinion, teaching students to do this is really hard because, actually, let's switch roles real quick. Because what has to happen is, as I come in, here I have to not continue forward, then I have to circle, boom, knock it out of the way, and then I have to thrust through, right? So it would look like this, right? So, okay, and that's a lot. It's a lot to pull off. And could you pull it off? Sure, absolutely, but it's hard, right? So tactically, this is some very fast decision making and some physically very capable people, right? So this is already kind of super hard, okay? The rest of it makes kind of nice sense. The jodengai shiuchi is what would happen if we were at range, right? Which is the opposite of Saito Sensei's second form. So Saito Sensei's 1 and 2 really kind of have the same idea of going, using the defense here and going into jodengai shiuchi. And Saito Sensei's 2 goes to the leg. That's my 5. And my 6. And that is the same kind of idea done from 2 different situations, so that's nice. It's nice that you go both high and low. Seeing the high Mawashi Barai is really nice, but this beginning is a mess, right? So Josh is coming in, I'm able to get offline, fire my shot, and he's able to defend that shot, so lots going on. Then we're into pretty familiar territory here. He comes in, I defend here. I'm at distance, so I just go ahead and take the distance. He steps back and defends. Now, what's nice here, let's rewind that a little bit. So Josh could also do other options. So if he was in range and I was going forward at all, he could just do first form answer and stab me right here. Boonk, right? So that's good, okay? If he thought he couldn't because I'm backing up, he could use second form answer for this. Boonk, right? But because I'm fast, right, and he's not able to quite get there, he kind of gets there a little bit and then boom, right? So that's why we're getting that, and that's kind of a nice thing to see, and you also see that in my third form, but it's nice to see that, like, I can't quite get off the move I want, and so we kind of make this other one work. So that's really nice. And the high Mawashi Barai is really nice to see because from this position, Josh is making a Mawashi Barai here, so he can use that as a clearing action, which is really great. We normally just see it down here. So in this form, we see both of those, but up here we see that, and we see how I can turn that into a Rinzo Kuchikomi. So those are nice things to see. I think if you already understood the system, you could pretty much put that stuff together, but that opening tactical set really takes a lot of talking to about why it comes off that way. So that's my 9th form, and I save it for the end because it's just kind of a mess to talk about. I think that's what I can say about it right now. I'm Christopher Hines, Joshua Teehee. My son Dan is behind that camera right there. See you in the next video.